I've always been a business guy, a hustler who understands people, markets, and attention. I built my family's wine business from a small shop into a national powerhouse by knowing the customer and outworking everyone. My world was sales and human connection, not code. I used tech, but building it, that was alien to me. Then a thunderbolt idea hit, a gap in the market only technology could fill. It kept me up at night, sketching interfaces on napkins, obsessing over features. But reality hit. I couldn't code, didn't know tech stacks, APIs, or databases. All I had was vision and fire, but no clue how to build it. I could let the idea die, or I could jump into the unknown. For me, there was no real choice. When an idea has gravity, you run toward it, even if you have no idea what you're doing. I decided to build it, stepping into tech unprepared and without a map. That decision changed everything. Committing to this tech product was exhilarating and terrifying. I dove into startup articles and videos bombarded by jargon, SaaS, MVP, UI, UX, Python. I was an outsider, fumbling through conversations with developers, lost in technical questions I couldn't answer. Budgeting was a nightmare. Numbers thrown at me seemed random and I was vulnerable. I was used to negotiating from strength. Here I was in the dark, but I refused to quit. My ignorance wasn't permanent, and my strengths, people, vision, learning, remained. I realized I didn't need to become a coder overnight. My job was to translate my vision into a language builders understood. It was about bridging my business world with the tech world I was determined to conquer. My real work was just beginning. I hired a freelance developer, handed over cash and sketches, and waited for magic. Weeks turned into months with little to show. Communication was a nightmare. He spoke in code, I spoke in feelings. The gap between us was enormous. When I finally saw the prototype, it was a disaster, clunky, buggy, nothing like my vision. My heart sank, time and money wasted. That failed prototype was a harsh, expensive lesson. Vision alone wasn't enough. You can't just throw money at a problem you don't understand. I realized I couldn't outsource understanding. I had to get my hands dirty, learn the language, and understand the fundamentals. Otherwise, I'd keep burning cash and getting nowhere. It was a wake-up call. I had to change. After the prototype debacle, I knew my problem was execution, and that meant learning the basics. Not to become a coder, but to be a better leader. I needed to understand front-end versus back-end, APIs, and why tech choices matter. I devoured coding for dummies, YouTube tutorials, and podcasts. It was humbling, struggling with concepts college kids mastered in a semester. But I wasn't learning to code. I was learning to communicate. Every answer led to more questions, but my respect for developers grew. I didn't need mastery, just literacy. I needed to read the sheet music, not write the symphony. This basic understanding gave me new confidence. I could ask better questions and understand the answers. I was no longer in the dark. I was ready to have real conversations with the people who could help build my dream. That changed everything. Armed with basic tech vocabulary, I faced a new problem. Everyone was an expert with a different solution. One agency pushed native iOS, another React Native, another web apps, each pitch compelling, each contradicting the last. I was drowning in conflicting advice, each expert selling their own hammer. My job was to see through the pitches and find what was best for my project and users. The pressure was immense. Choosing wrong could be catastrophic. I spent weeks in meetings, my head spinning with terms like scalability and technical debt. But I learned technical knowledge is only part of the puzzle. The real key is strategic thinking. The goal wasn't the perfect product, it was an MVP to test my idea quickly and cheaply. That realization was a breakthrough. I stopped looking for the best expert and started looking for a partner who understood my business strategy first, technology second. After my first prototype failed, I realized my approach had to change. Acting like a boss didn't work. I needed to become a student. Swallowing my pride, I started asking questions and admitting what I didn't know. This humility turned experts into teachers and every meeting into a lesson. True hustle isn't just out working, it's out learning. Humility is the new hustle. Learning on my own was a great first step, but it wasn't enough. I needed a guide who could bridge the gap between my business vision and the technical reality. I wasn't just looking for a coder, I needed a translator. Someone who could sit beside me, understand my why, and translate it into the how. I needed empathy as much as engineering skills. The right partner wasn't the one with the flashiest resume, but the one who understood both sides. Finding my technical translator was the turning point. The loneliness of the journey was over. My new technical partner taught me the most important concept in the tech startup world, the minimum viable product, or MVP. Before, I thought I had to build the entire perfect vision from day one. I wanted every feature I had ever dreamed of, every bell and whistle, all working flawlessly. My mind was set on building the final, glorious cathedral. He helped me understand that we needed to start by building a small, sturdy tent. The goal of an MVP isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be just enough. It's the simplest version of your product that you can release to a small group of early users to see if your core idea actually works. This was a massive mental shift for me. As a marketer, I'm used to thinking about big, polished launches. The idea of releasing something that was incomplete felt counterintuitive, even a bit embarrassing. What if people hated it? What if they thought it was a joke? My partner helped me see that the feedback, whether good or bad, was the entire point. The MVP isn't the final product, it's a learning tool. It's a scientific experiment to test your most important assumption. For us, that assumption was, will people actually use this platform to solve their problem? Everything else was just noise until we could answer that one question. So we went back to the drawing board. We took my grand vision, which had dozens of features, and we started cutting. It was a painful but liberating process. For every feature, we asked a simple question. Can we launch without this? If the answer was yes, we cut it. We stripped the idea down to its absolute core. What was the one single thing our product had to do to provide value? That one thing became our MVP. All the other cool ideas went into a version 2 list. This ruthless focus allowed us to define a project that was smaller, cheaper, and much faster to build. Adopting the MVP mindset changed everything about our execution. It transformed an overwhelming multi-year project into a manageable 3-month sprint. It lowered our financial risk dramatically. It gave us a clear, achievable goal that the entire team could rally around. More importantly, it focused us on the most critical business activity, learning from our customers. We weren't building in a vacuum anymore, guessing what people wanted. We were building a tool to start a conversation with the market. This shift from building a perfect product to building to learn was the most valuable lesson of this entire phase. Launching our MVP was terrifying. No big launch, just a quiet room and 2 of us pushing the button. We had no marketing budget, no email blast, just a handful of people we knew who had the problem we wanted to solve. I reached out personally to 10 people, asking for honest feedback. Watching the user count tick up to 10 was everything. Their feedback was raw and direct, but it was gold. Those first 10 users weren't just customers, they were our compass. After our first user feedback, my technical partner integrated analytics into our MVP. Suddenly, we could see exactly what users were doing, every click, every second spent. I was skeptical at first, but the data revealed the truth. Users loved a feature we nearly cut, while our main feature was ignored. People's actions told a different story than their words. The data became our source of truth, guiding us to build what users actually wanted. The data didn't lie. The combination of user feedback and cold, hard data brought us to a critical crossroads. The insights were undeniable. Our users were telling us, through their words and their clicks, that our core assumption was slightly off. The main problem we thought we were solving wasn't the real pain point. The real value was in that one unassuming feature that we had almost left on the cutting room floor. My ego wanted to resist. I had spent months, years even, married to my original vision. It was my baby. The idea of changing course felt like admitting I had been wrong all along. My technical partner and I had some of the most difficult conversations of the entire journey during this time. I argued for staying the course, for educating the users on why our main feature was so important. He, being more objective, pointed to the data again and again. He said, "The market is pulling us in this direction. We can either fight it or we can follow it." He was right. Clinging to my original idea out of pride would be the death of the company. The market was speaking to us, giving us a gift, and it would be foolish to ignore it. True vision isn't about being stubborn. It's about being willing to see a new path when it appears. So we made the call. We decided to pivot. It wasn't a complete overhaul, but it was a significant shift in focus. We decided to double down on the one feature that users loved. We would make it the core of the product, not just a side attraction. This meant going back to the drawing board. We had to rethink the user interface, the marketing message, and the entire identity of the product. It was a scary decision. It felt like we were throwing away months of work. But in reality, that work wasn't wasted. It was the price of admission for learning this crucial lesson. That pivot was the single most important decision we ever made. It was the moment we stopped building the product we wanted and started building the product the market wanted. Almost immediately after we released the new focused version of the app, everything changed. Our user engagement skyrocketed. People started telling their friends. Our user count went from 10 to 100, then to 1,000, all through word of mouth. We had found it. We had found that magical, elusive thing called product market fit. We weren't just breaking through a technical barrier anymore. We were breaking through to a real business. Looking back, I thought my biggest weakness was that I couldn't code. I believed success in tech meant mastering Python or JavaScript. But as the business grew, I realized I was wrong. The most valuable skill wasn't technical at all. It was about communicating my vision, listening to users, and building the business. Technology is just a tool, a means to an end. The real challenge was learning to lead, strategize, and focus relentlessly on the customer. If I had to boil it all down to one thing, it's this: relentless problem solving. It's not just about being smart, it's a mindset. For every problem, there's a solution, and you don't stop until you find it. Every day brings new obstacles, language barriers, bad prototypes, conflicting feedback. But a relentless problem solver asks, how do I get this built, and keeps going. Each problem you solve makes you stronger. That's what separates dreamers from builders. The winners are those who get really good at solving problems. That's the most valuable skill of all. In today's world, the landscape changes in the blink of an eye. The fast eat the slow. Your ability to adapt, to pivot, to change course based on new information is your greatest competitive advantage. Don't be married to your original plan. The faster you can build, measure, and learn, the faster you can adapt. This agility is your superpower. Don't waste it by acting like a big, slow company. The most valuable skill is relentless, high-speed adaptation, solving problems by learning and changing course faster than anyone else. If you have a big tech idea but aren't a coder, listen up. Stop thinking you need to learn how to code. Your job isn't to become a developer. You're the leader, the visionary. Learn the language of technology so you can communicate with your team. This knowledge gives you confidence and protects you from costly mistakes. You become a true partner in building your vision. Don't learn to code, learn to translate. The second piece of advice is about people. You can't do this alone. Your journey depends on the quality of your team. As a non-technical founder, your first hire should be a technical translator, a co-founder, lead developer, or trusted CTO. They must be technically brilliant and have the heart of a teacher. Network relentlessly to find them. Use LinkedIn, ask for advice, and listen for empathy. Once you have your translator, build the team together. Remember, you're building a business, not just software. Teams win. The real barrier isn't your lack of technical skills or fear of the unknown. It's the story you tell yourself to stay comfortable. The journey from non-technical to tech entrepreneur isn't about code, but about learning, grit, and vision. Take the first step. Your real work is finding the courage to begin, the humility to learn, and the tenacity to keep going. The world needs your vision. Now get to work.